Okay, so I'm gonna do a quick video, kind of showing my rune setup on some of my characters. Also a little bit about how I've been crafting my runes to make some of the builds that I do. These are far from perfect. I have a lot more building that I want to do on some of these. Right now, by far, Zale's been my main guy, but Torsten has so much potential here. The leech is has been huge, getting that 37%. I showed it on another video. I've considered trying to get his defense even higher. It's not really that necessary. I mean, it is. It does more damage. All that's great. I don't care about doing so much damage. What I care about is surviving the fights, and that the leech is the most important aspect. I'm learning that more and more. I want my characters that can do big bursts damage. I want them to have a high percentage chance to leech. And I showed this earlier. I'm just going to go through each rune real quick. And again, I have a lot of fine tuning that I want to do. I highly suggest that people go when they craft a rune, they need to craft in the low section if they're crafting leeches, because the leech tiles are hard to find anyway. They because you can only get them from daily chests, you can get them from grand chests, and you can get them from arena chests. Those are really the only ways to get them. You can get them from arena rewards. When you get them from there, though, they're generally a decent quality, and you don't want to break them apart or anything. But when you dismantle a bunch of your crappy ones, you can. It costs 30. It costs 30 tiles to make one legendary. So, and you might get one that you don't even care about. You might get one that doesn't have a very good main bonus. So I suggest when you go into the Tinker, and you want to craft a low rune. Then if you look at the leech, it only costs 3 tiles to do that. And plus you have tons and tons, you should have tons and tons and tons of regular blue shards. So you can craft these all day until you get the direction and the main bonus that you want. Once you get that, tune that up to, superior or masterwork if you can, or excellent. You want to get it to excellent or masterwork. Whatever the second to the highest and the highest are. You want to max them out completely, because the quality of the rune massively affects the secondary bonus. It doesn't really matter the rarity of the rune when it comes to the secondary bonuses. So now that I have this rune, I've got the destroy at 5%. I'm gonna show. I've already upgraded this to the max on this one. It took me forever to get this rune the way I wanted it, and I went through all of the modifications already, and that was really frustrating. But I'll show you on a different one. I think I've got enough for alchemy stone. No, I don't. I had just bought one earlier, so I don't have any right now. What I want to do is I want to use an alchemy stone on this one. This is a rune I might consider replacing because it just doesn't have. It's not a very high quality or whatever. You can see here at level 6, it's at 22% defense. If I had it as a green rune, I could get 20% significantly cheaper. I could also get it at a higher quality, and I would have a much better chance at getting some of these secondary bonuses to be something that I want or whatever. It's these two right here that are giving me a ton of extra leech. And it's nice because if I ever wanted to take these off of Torsten, I could use them on somebody else. Again, it's really nice getting these 12% bonuses to HP as well. I'm getting these because of the quality of the runes that I'm crafting. I just suggest waiting until there's another event for tuning runes, because I've spent a ton of gems doing that. I try not to spend my gems on anything I just save them up until I know that there's a tuning event coming up, and I try to use my gems for that. Um, I know it's expensive. I know it's really expensive as far as gems go, but it's really really worth it. Like right here, what's something I might tune is I might take that 5% in the middle, and I might try to change that to defense or something. So for characters that have burst damage, I use leech. For characters that don't really do any burst damage or whatever, I use destroy or thorn. Honestly, I'm liking thorn less and less. It just it's not I mean, it's nice to have that or whatever, but I do way more damage with destroy. Counter can work well against certain titans, but destroy works on every titan. So, in my opinion, leech and destroy are the two main runes that you want to focus on. So, just as an example, Torsten, he does a lot of burst damage, so I have leech. Tusk, he doesn't do any kind of burst damage, so I do destroy runes on him. Again, I don't have a very good setup on him just yet. I haven't really done any fine tuning on any of his stuff. All of his secondary bonuses are just kind of piddly stuff. I did put this rune on him. I boosted his attack a little bit. Again, his attack against Titans over 40, really Titans over 30, his attack is going to do nothing even if he criticals. So there's really no point in having an attack rune on him. But this rune right here also gives a lot of extra health. It gives that base 400 right there at the first secondary bonus, and then another 11%, plus a little boost to his defense, and then another 10% to destroy. And then I've got some more health down here. I mainly just focus on characters that are just there for their skill utility. I just focused on destroy and giving them as much defense and health as possible, because I'm not counting on them to do any damage except from using their destroy. I mean, these sharp runes that I have on him, it doesn't really matter, because he's just not gonna break through the defense anyway. It's not gonna be enough. So I just certain runes have a set of 2, and certain ones have sets of 3. In my opinion, the sharp runes definitely are the best 2 set. There's a good argument for focus, and there's a good argument for the one that increases critical damage. What is it? Fatal. Fatal is that could be a good one, but honestly, in my opinion, sharp is definitely the best 2-1. Sometimes vitality, vitalize. It just depends. So again, Tapio, he doesn't really do big burst damage. I might play around a little bit with his runes and try to increase his attack a little bit, because this is a really weak Tapio. Plus, he's an anima. But I like that. I like him having. I've given him a ton of health, enough defense to where he gets over that 60% mark. I could play around with that a little bit more and increase his attack, because both of his skills are attack based. He doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but he does do some. So I went ahead and put a leech set on him. Now, the sharp right here, the sharp runes, right there it says 20% and it has a little broken shield. What that means is, say the enemy has a defense of 70%. He's blocking 70% of the damage. Well, whatever damage that Tapio does, your opponent will only be able to block 50% of the damage instead of 70%. At least that's my understanding of how sharp works. Again, I'm not 100% sure how these formulas work on these titans. Plus, sometimes they have a trait to where you have to be a certain trait in order to do extra damage. So a lot of times he mitigates your damage down to 1 all the time anyway. But my Tapio has a decent chance to leech here as well. Plus, he's also got a really nice thorn. So I know my Tapio doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but when he does, I mean, I've got a little bit of leech here and there. I have two skills to leech off with. And when I do, I get 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 leech. It's a nice little extra added bonus. Another nice thing about this Tapio is that I've got silver on dark enhancement. So when I bring a Tyrant in with me, it's going to boost my Tyrant's damage by an extra 10%, which is kind of nice. I've got his defense boosted. I need to increase that a little bit, and then I can focus my runes a little more on attack. Again, you can see my secondary bonuses down here at the bottom. Those are where I'm getting the majority. That's what's making my characters super strong or whatever. So this is my weak rune right here. That's the one I'll probably replace. Right now, I just don't really have anything that would replace it with or whatever. And I'm okay with that right now. My Hydra, again, there's no burst damage except for the Force of Nature. And I'm not really, if I'm going to use Force of Nature, I'd rather just use it with Tapio. And then the Hydra, since he's not really meant to be an attack type, even though he does have a pretty strong attack anyway, I'd rather have him do destroy damage. And again, I've got the Vitalize runes just to increase how much healing he does. I've just now noticed that I don't have his defense up to 60%. That's okay. It's not really that important. I mean, it is. I try to get as close to that 60% mark, but I don't really notice him doing that much. I guess I'm going to have to rethink that a little bit. Anyways, I've got... I haven't really fine-tuned his rune set that much. Like I said, his destroy is only 15%. He's got a little bit of thorn, a little bit of leech. The main thing I use him for is healing. There's actually a lot I could do to improve this Hydra. And I might toy around with that later. Next, I'm going to go and show you my Zale, which I've gone through, and I've showed you guys this before. I still have a little bit of improving that I could do with him. Like, I could try to increase his defense more just so he does more burst damage. Like this rune right here. It'd probably be best if I had this as a defense rune. But the having that extra 12% to leech, it was so important, and my defense is high enough already. I'll swap it out with a defense rune, maybe one day. I think this rune already I've used up all of its level ups, or its enchantments. Now I do have 3 more modifications. Let's see. It's only a 16% chance. Not much better. I don't have a whole lot of runes to mess around with. I would be curious to see what would happen if I were to get that to actually go up. But I don't really want to mess with... I don't really want to lose any of these runes right now. All those runes are kind of runes that I could potentially use one day. So anyways, I'm going to leave that alone for now. Not sure what else to say about this. Again, I've done a lot of enchanting of these runes. This 18% down here at the bottom, I mean, that is so strong to get an extra 18% health. It's what's giving my characters, it's making them, a cut above. And sometimes you look at the arena, you can look at some of your opponents' runes, or not runes, but their characters' statistics or whatever. And I've seen some Kuhas. They'll have, a little over 1,000 base attack, but it'll be plus like 3,000 or so. They'll have like 4,000 or 5,000 attack. And it has to be coming from those secondary bonuses being refined the way that I'm doing it. So, anyways, so Zali does burst damage. That's why I have Leech on him. Aldrich, he does do burst damage sometimes, but the main thing I care about him is the shield. That's why I've really focused mostly on his defense. He's an anima, so he'll already have a lot of HP. The main thing I focus on him is destroy. And again, I have a lot of refining I could do on him, and I've been working on that. Like I put this destroy rune on him, and it has extra defense. And I'm going to leave that one that way. I would like for that bottom secondary bonus to be destroy. And again, like this one, I've got an extra 2%. I don't even care about that one, but I don't even care about that rune altogether. A little bit of leech, which that activates every once in a while. And this top one's a little bit of counter. And again, I just have those there as placeholders. I don't really need I don't need to refine him that much right now because he's serving his purpose with that really, really, really high defense. And I don't want to swap out any of these runes until I have something that has comparable defense. So right now I'm farming destroy runes. I'm actually in the story mode. I've been doing chapter 10. I'm doing the Sinister Mage, but I do it on Hell mode, and I've just been doing loot tickets for this. Because on this, it has a chance to do excellent quality destroy runes. And so far, I've only looted a couple of them. They're rare, but when I loot them, I mean, that's a lot. That saves me a ton of gems, so I don't have to craft them and tune them. So it's a really nice thing to farm. It's chapter 10, the fifth dungeon on hell mode. You can do it in nightmare, and I mean it's still going to be a good quality, but you can't tune runes unless you're right at the beginning when you're crafting them. So in my opinion, it's super super worth it. You know, if you can beat Sinister Mage without having to use any gems or whatever, and you'll have it in hell mode or whatever, man, that's where you want to farm runes. Absolutely. None of the other places you can get that excellent quality, except for 13 and 14 you can, but they're both recovery runes. I don't know why. Because in Nightmare, this one's actually destroy. Or, no. I mean, this one. It's defense, yeah. It's defense in normal, Nightmare, and then in Hell it goes to recovery. Or recovery, I don't know why. And then these you can't do in Hell mode yet. It's said coming soon for a long time. I'm ready for them to bring a new challenge. So anyway, I'm going to go through a couple more of my characters. My Tyrant. He doesn't do burst damage, but he does a lot of just... I mean, he just cuts through the enemies, especially when I use his lethal move. So, this middle ability, I've got to raise a couple more Tyrants and try to reawaken until I get his attack boosted. I've just gotten really unlucky. I can't get it to go to attack. I've gone from defense. I've gotten defense, and then it just kept on going to REC, which is just bullshit. I mean, I'm ready for it to go to attack. So anyways, my rune set. Right now I have focus runes on him, but honestly, having the sharp runes is probably best for this build. Again, I got that 11%, and right here in the middle, I've got a little bit of piercing damage, or piercing percentage, or whatever. Down here, he's got a little bit of destroy. Again, I would prefer that to be leech, but I mean, destroy is still pretty nice. I mean, that rune's only level 3. I could do a lot of leveling up on that. Again, this rune's just kind of a placeholder. I really just want it for the attack. And I don't really want to even invest in getting this to level 10. Because it's the poor quality. I really don't want to invest much into these kinds of runes. So as soon as I can get another leech rune that goes that direction, that's also attack. Like, honestly, I might as well put this one in its place. Um, yeah, I'm gonna do that right now. He'll get more health. He'll have more health. Um, I mean, it'll have definitely 6% more attack, a little bit more defense, which I don't really care about. Yeah, in every way, this is better, basically. Whew, that's. I don't know how I missed that. Yeah, I could put that there. Um, I don't know. I'll play around with that. That's a 4% leech. I could put that in that direction. I'm gonna leave this the way it is for now. Having the focus is pretty nice. Plus, it gives him what's that? 9% to destroy. No, he's got 17% to destroy. Yeah, and a 26% chance to leech, and a 21% accuracy. So, he's really good on those titans that are real dodgy. He's also good in the arena if people are dodgy or whatever. Um, and then when you've got that times the times five or whatever, times five damage. I mean, it just you gain your health back really really fast. I also invested in giving him his light resistance to 60%. So when I go up against a Titan that is a white type or whatever, I mean, my Tyrant takes so little damage from them. So I thought that was a really, really cool thing. Once I get I might focus on getting a Tyrant to 5-star first, and maybe trying to unlock one of these. That'd be nice. Um, well, no, I should probably do this first. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. So, anyways, for my spellcasters, the main thing is you want their REC to be the highest. So like they usually always have burst damage. So I like to use leech runes on them. Again, I don't have super great builds on these. This was the first mythic rune I got, and it happened to be REC, so it just fit perfectly with Eldrick. Eldrick definitely has the highest burst damage, probably of any character if you build him right. I really haven't poured a lot of resources in the. I've been using these less and less and less as I've been playing. With the last using that Kuha in that last fight, it's kind of opened my eyes a little bit as to ways that I can incorporate some of these spellcasters in some of my builds. If you have your shield and you have other characters that can lower his attack, it makes some of these spellcasters a little safer to use in some of those builds. So I'm going to play around with that a little while and see what I can get to work. It makes it to where maybe I will invest a little more into a character like this. I can stop investing in so much defense for him, and I can really focus on making him a complete REC build. And again, I kind of already have. His REC is about as high as it can be. I can still do a lot to increase it though. As you can see, all the lower secondary abilities have a lot of REC as well. So yeah, it's pretty hard. I get that times 60. And what's my REC? It's around 600 or so. And then if I have a Hydra, if I bring a Hydra as a reinforcement, or if he's my leader, I get that additional times 4.5. He does some pretty heavy damage. It definitely hits. I don't really care about his attack that much. I don't even know why. He has a really decent attack, and it just it doesn't ever really matter to me that much. At least not against the Titan. Those are some of my builds, right? Or some of the rune setups that I have. I already showed you Tusks. My arena setup, I can show you that real quick. You already know how Zale and Aldrich works. I've been using Neth, and I've got a whole different idea of a build that I'm going to do with him. I don't focus at all for defense with him, even though he definitely has a decent amount of defense. I really care mostly about evasion. And you can only get evasion from secondary bonuses. The only place where it's a main bonus is the bottom right rune, which again, I could level that up even more if I really wanted to. And then the set, obviously. So I focus on giving him a bunch of health. This rune just happened to be defense, which I don't really care that much about defense with him because with his dodge, I mean, he's dodging 68% of the time. And again, I don't really care even that much about his dodge. Same thing with the merman. I could reawaken some of these if I really want to. I don't really care that much about it because the reason why I have this build this way, I have him really dodgy and everything. All that's great. But the reason why I have it set up this way, I'll just do a Titan attack and I'll show you, or a arena attack. I mean, I can't think of a better party than this. All right, so the thing I want to take out first, or the thing that I want to make sure that the Kuha, the Zale, and the raccoon, the Key or whatever his name is, I want to kill them first. So I'm going to attack the merman. Just one turn. Just gotta make sure I activate. So after one turn, my merman's activated. So I'll use his ability, gives everybody 2 skill energy. Then I can immediately use him and silence their merman, which prevents him from giving them any boosts. Plus, it gives me 2 more skill energy. So now, on turn 2, my Zale and Aldrich have their direct sunburn already charged up. And it has a 60% chance to burn. So he's got 2 fire types and a water type. It wouldn't make any sense for me to use Zale to do this. It makes a lot more sense for me to use a light type attack. So I'll use direct sunburn on these 3. It's going to drop their shields completely. And if it would, any of them that it burns, it's going to kill them in 1 or 2 turns. And I just burned 1, but that's okay, because it'll kill him next turn. And then when my Zale activates, I'll be able to burn these 3 on the left. I'll go ahead and use Divinus Mirrors. There's really no need. I mean, I might not take any more damage at all. Well, that worked out nice. Oh, it didn't kill Key. It will next turn though. Zale it'll probably drop all 3 of them. Ooh, Kuha survived. Actually, but he got burnt, and their Zale has just a little bit of health. Both of them are gonna burn. The 2 burns are gonna die next turn. So Zale, I'm just gonna attack him. Hopefully, it'll be enough to kill him. Yep. And that's game. Anyways, that's my arena setup right now. I almost never lose. Obviously I will as I get higher, but this is my arena attack team that I've been using for probably 2 or 3 months. Well, for a while I was using Angel, but Angel doesn't give you energy anymore. So now I just use Neth. Anyway, so that's my excuse me. That's my setup for my runes. If you guys have any questions directly about any specific teams or builds or anything, just message me directly or something on Discord. I think that's about it. Hope this helps. You guys have a good night.